Hey, it's Calvin, founder and CEO of Simplero. I have something else that I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about affirmations. So here's the thing. So I don't actually do a tremendous amount of affirmations these days. That is to say, like mostly not at all, other than kind of unconsciously at some point or from time to time. But my journey with affirmations, I think, might be interesting for you. So I came across them over 10 years ago, first through Tony Robbins. So I bought some Tony Robbins products at a point in my life where I was struggling and searching for answers, and came across him. And one of the things he talked about, one of his affirmations was, I was supposed to say to myself, every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every day in every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. And saying that actually kind of feels good now when I say it. But at the time, it kind of felt like bullshit, right? And so I was like, this is not, who am I kidding? Like, I'm just going to stop doing this. So that was my first introduction to it. But then later I came across Louise Hay, and she did a lot of mirror work, right? So you look into a mirror and then you say, Calvin, in my case, Calvin, I love you. I really, really love you, Calvin. And you look into your own eyes as you're saying it in the mirror. So that's a self-love affirmation. So here's the thing, right? So a couple of years ago, I was at this conference called 99U, and this journalist or writer from The Guardian was there. His name is Oliver Burkeman. And he gave this talk where he dissed affirmations and poo-pooed them, which a lot of people do. There's a lot of poo-pooing of affirmations. Oh, only weak, stupid, silly people do that. Like, who are you? Who are you kidding that this is working, that this is doing anything, et cetera, et cetera. Which is kind of exactly the point. Like, these are the voices that we hear in our head, right? When you look into the mirror and you look at yourself in the eyes and you say, I love you, like, then all the self-talk starts. Like, oh, who are you kidding? This is bullshit. Like, this is never going to work, blah, 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 right? Which, as Louise Hay beautifully points out, those are also affirmations. But here's the thing. Here's a trick to understanding affirmations. You want those things to surface, right? Because what you're affirming, I love myself. That's the natural state. Like, babies that come out of the womb come out loving themselves. So why wouldn't they? They have no concept of anything else. So this self-hatred that we've learned is learned behavior. Like, someone came up with that at some point, and now it's just runs through generations. It runs in our culture that we have to criticize ourselves. Oh, I'm too fat, or I'm too skinny, or I'm not this or that. I'm not successful enough or happy, or like my wife is not, like my husband is not. But mostly like the self-hate. But the self-hate is what translates into hating others. It also what's translating into idolizing others. But the hate and the feeling that every day in every way I'm getting weaker, right? I'm not getting stronger. Getting stronger and stronger every day is the natural state. We grow, we learn, we evolve. That's natural. That's how life is supposed to be. Like, I'm powerful and prosperous and rich. That's your natural state. That's your birthright. That's what you do. That's the state that you live in when you haven't yet learn to screw it up for yourself, right? So really what this is about is it's connecting with some deeper truth within you, and then it's exposing all these layers of bullshit that lies in between that deeper truth and your current lived reality. And so what you want to do is get all that stuff to the surface, right? So Berkman said people feel worse after doing affirmations. Yes, because you put a spotlight on all those uncomfortable things, right? So what we want to do is have them bubble up so that you can be like, oh, that story. Like, oh, you'll never amount to anything. That's what my aunt whatever used to say. And like, oh, you're a good for nothing piece of shit. Or like, that's what my dad used to say. Whatever it is, you want all these things to bubble up so that you can be aware of them and heal them. Because all of those unconscious commitments and beliefs and stories, they're the ones that are running you right now. And we want to clear that stuff out, right? So then you be with that boy that you were at that age, or girl, or whatever, and you deal with whatever comes up. Maybe you just acknowledge it and let it go, and you're like, that was my truth then, but it doesn't have to be true now. You forgive the people who made you feel wrong, and you move on, and you choose, like, I'm the one that's in charge now. And then you get closer and closer. And so for a while, I would do daily mirror work. I would do these daily affirmations, and it felt weird and strange and like silly and all these things, but it actually really made a difference. Like getting to the point where I could look myself in the eyes and just genuinely say, I love you. I really love you, was major thing. And it took a while. It took a long time to start to shift, but it did shift, right? And that's the point. We want to wear all that resistance down over time. And it takes a while, and that's fine. And of course, we wouldn't go affirming things that we don't believe. There's no point in that, right? Like, if I drop this, it's gonna fall. This is gonna fall. This is gonna fall. Like, we're not gonna do that. Or like, whatever else, like other stuff that we already believe. Like, I might go to the mirror and say, I love you, Calvin. I really love you, just because it feels good to affirm it, but I wouldn't use it as an affirmation that I do like on a regular basis, other than to keep my sword sharp and just remind myself and check, hey, did something bubble up that is causing some resistance now, right? Then I might do that. But that would be the extent of it. Hold on, I'm gonna open the comments just to see if someone's writing here. But here's how I really like to think of affirmations: is with everything really, like, that I want to achieve, I like to ask myself, who would I have to be in order for me to achieve this? So how would I have to be? How would my energy be? Like for affirmations, I have a nourishing, loving relationship, for example, or I have a successful business with great customers, or whatever it is. Like, what kind of person would I have to be in order for that to be true? Like, how would my spine feel? How would my body feel? What would the energy around me be for someone for whom this is true? What would that be like? And just go feel into that, right? And then find that within yourself. And the way I like to think of it is as like, you're putting this like armor, right? This like medieval armor. Inside of you is this like beautiful, loving core that it just is, and it just is love, and it's nothing. It doesn't even have a name. It doesn't care about anything, but it's what resonates and radiates, and that's the core from which everything beautiful and good in your life happens. It naturally has nourishing relationships, because why wouldn't it? And it naturally has success in the world because it's just out there and contributing, and it cares for other people, and it cares for itself, and so it finds ways to add value and have like mutual exchanges that benefit everybody, and it's just like the natural state of being. And then there's this armor that we put on top, which is everything that we learned growing up, the self-hate, and they're like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, and like that's what makes you get away from that natural state. And so we want to be able to feel that core inside of where this is true for you, and also be able to distinguish that from the armor that you've put around you, and then start to like chink away at that like armor bit by bit, like just lovingly, like just noticing and seeing, and like, oh, there's some pain, and there's that happened, and this over here, and here I've started protecting myself because I'm afraid of la la la. And so we start to peel away at this armor so that we can be more of that authentic, natural core that we already are inside, but we've learned differently. So pretty much my principle with everything in terms of like personal growth is, it's not how do I become successful, but how am I currently making myself not successful? That's the thing that I'm actively doing. It may be unconscious. It probably is unconscious, right? But that's the thing that I'm actually doing. And that's the thing I want to remove so that I can get to that natural place inside. And that's where affirmations are so freaking helpful, because it allows you to connect straight with that core inside and then feel all the shit, all the armor stuff, all the beliefs, all the stories, all the wounding and hurt and all that stuff, all the confusion that is in between, and then peel away at it. And initially, maybe all you feel is that like painful stuff, and so you feel worse. But over time, you're gonna connect more and more easily with that more pure part inside, and so it lifts you. And so I've so many experiences where like just by taking a few minutes, like I want to go do it now, like look in the mirror. I've kind of been staring at my image in the screen here, but I want to actually go to the mirror and do this right now, because it's transformative, man. It's really like you ring up different, like you ring up a different frequency within yourself, and that's where all the magic happens, is when you're connected with that frequency within yourself. So there you have it, folks. That's my take on how you make affirmations work for you. Don't be like Oliver Dude and completely miss the point of how affirmations are supposed to work. Use them to figure out, who would I have to be in order for this to be true, and how can I start to be that person? And that's where all the magic comes in. That's where all the good stuff in life happens. Go try it out. Go do it. Let me know how that works out for you. Want to know? Share in the comments, and we'll be in touch soon. Bye-bye.